A breathtaking ceremony is unfolding. Thousands of devoted followers and tourists pack the hillside, watching as an elderly man is nailed to a massive wooden cross. 3-inch iron nails pierce through his hands and feet. Blood pours from the wounds, slowly dripping down the wood. The air is filled with deep, murmured prayers and the sharp crack of whips. This man is no performer. He is a true practitioner of faith. His name is Ruben Enaje. What's even more unbelievable is that he has never committed any crime. Yet every year, on the same day, he voluntarily asks to be nailed to a cross. As of 2025, he has done this a staggering 36 times. Ruben Enaje is just an ordinary carpenter who also works part-time as a sign painter. He was born in 1961 into a working-class family. His father was a devoted follower of the local penitential rituals. As a child, Ruben often tagged along to watch those ceremonies. Men walked barefoot, dragging heavy crosses behind them, whipping their own backs, with barbed lashes as they went. Blood stained the entire street. Those images were seared into his mind, teaching him early on that true faith must be proven through the body. In the 1970s, Ruben dropped out of school and entered the construction industry. The Philippines had just emerged. From decades of dictatorship, the economy was in shambles and unemployment was through the roof. He became a common laborer on construction sites in Tarlac province, painting walls and laying bricks every day, standing on shaky bamboo scaffolding in front of unfinished 3-story buildings where one wrong step could mean serious injury. In 1985, a single accident changed the course of his life forever. While working on bamboo scaffolding on the 3rd floor, his foot suddenly slipped and he plummeted straight down like a stone. Everyone who saw it was sure he was dead. But then a miracle happened. When Ruben came to, he had nothing more than minor scrapes. No broken bones, no internal injuries. Lying on the ground, staring up at the sky, he whispered, "Lord, you saved me." In that moment, he was certain it was divine intervention, and he immediately vowed to spend his life repaying that grace. After the fall, Ruben's life began to quietly transform. He started going to church regularly, studying the Bible closely, and constantly praying for God's guidance. At first, he only fasted and made donations, but the calling inside him grew stronger and stronger. He needed a more extreme way to express his gratitude. In the Catholic tradition of the Philippines, there is an ancient penitential practice where devotees reenact the suffering of Jesus through self-flagellation or crucifixion as atonement. Ruben decided to take part. He made a solemn vow. For the next 9 years, he would participate in a crucifixion ritual once a year to give thanks for that miracle. This was no impulsive decision. It was carefully and deeply considered. His wife, Juanita, was fiercely against it at first. She feared his body couldn't handle it, but she was eventually moved by his devotion and chose to fully support him on this path. From that point on, the fate of an ordinary carpenter was forever bound to the cross of Jesus. In 1989, Ruben took part in the Lenten crucifixion for the very first time, beginning a journey of penance that would last 36 years. To understand why he kept going for so long, you first need to know the origins of crucifixion penance in the Philippines. This practice wasn't invented by Ruben. It's the result of a deep fusion between Philippine Catholicism and local folk beliefs. Catholicism arrived in the 16th century with the Spanish colonizers. The story of Christ's suffering quickly merged with indigenous penitential traditions. Holy Week became the biggest religious event of the year, with streets filled with processions and passion plays. Actual crucifixion rituals began in the 1950s. After World War II, people turned to extreme penance to heal from the trauma of war. The earliest participants were mostly poor farmers who believed that physical suffering could bring good harvests or cure illness. By the 1970s, the ritual had evolved into a full Cenaculo passion play, including self-flagellation, cross-bearing, and real crucifixion. By the time Ruben joined, there were already hundreds of participants, but his long-term commitment turned this ritual into a global phenomenon. At the heart of the ritual is the panata, a solemn personal vow made to God. Most participants are poor farmers and laborers. In their eyes, suffering is the price of redemption. The Catholic Church officially opposes the practice. Philippine bishops have publicly stated that it goes against the spirit of the gospel and that true atonement should come through acts of charity, not bodily harm. But folk belief persists, and Ruben's dedication is the perfect embodiment of that tension. His devotion commands respect. Yet the ritual has also become a tourist spectacle, drawing roughly 20,000 visitors every year. For Ruben, none of this is an impromptu performance. It follows a strict and sacred process. In late March or early April each year, he begins a week of fasting and preparation, eating only rice and the simplest foods, completely cutting out meat and alcohol. He meditates alone, praying for the strength to see it through. His wife sews him a pure white robe, symbolizing the purity of Jesus. He keeps his naturally curly hair long, and on the day of the ritual, he wears a crown of thorns, woven from local vines. On Good Friday morning, the ceremony officially begins. Ruben hoists a wooden cross, weighing about 60 pounds, stones onto his shoulders and sets off from the village church, walking nearly 1.25 miles on foot. Under the blazing sun and swirling dust, he drops to his knees 3 times, reenacting the Stations of the Cross. Along the way, volunteers dressed as Roman soldiers lash him, 5 strikes each. His back is quickly torn to shreds. The crowd chants, "Long live Christ the King!" Camera flashes go off non-stop. At the top of the hill, the ritual reaches its most breathtaking climax. Reuben lies flat on the rough wooden cross, palms facing up, hands fully open. 2 volunteers dressed as Roman soldiers raise their hammers. They take sterilized 3-inch stainless steel nails and line them up with his palms and ankles. The nails are deliberately aimed to miss the bones and pierce straight through the soft tissue. Reuben says, "The very first hammer blow is the worst. The tearing sensation is like flames instantly engulfing your skin. Blood gushes out immediately. He screams. He can't help it. But soon his devoted prayers carry him into a different state. The searing pain gradually fades into numbness. The cross is slowly raised upright with ropes, and Reuben hangs there for 45 minutes to an hour. He prays the entire time, sometimes for world peace, sometimes for personal blessings. When the ritual ends, the nails are pulled out, and the wounds are thoroughly cleaned with alcohol. He immediately takes medication for pain and inflammation. Within 3 days, the wounds mostly heal. He can walk right away, but his hands need to stay bandaged for several weeks to fully recover. The whole process isn't fatal, but it carries very real risks. Reuben emphasizes that the first 5 seconds of impact are the hardest to endure. Once the blood starts flowing, the pain turns into a dull numbness. He simply wants to experience firsthand the suffering Jesus endured. Compared to other participants, his ritual is the most complete. He's not the only one playing the role of Christ, but no one can match his commitment. As of 2025, Reuben has completed 36 consecutive crucifixions. Whether he'll continue beyond that, no one can say for sure. Each time, his prayers are different. For the first 9 times, he thanked God for surviving the fall. From the 10th to the 18th, he prayed for his daughter to be healed of her asthma. From the 19th to the 27th, he prayed for his wife's health. In 2009, he completed his 24th crucifixion. Breaking his own record, media outlets around the world covered the story, calling him the Christ of the Philippines. After his 27th time in 2013, he wanted to stop, but no one was willing to take his place, so he kept going. For his 30th time in 2016, he prayed for the victims of the Brussels bombing and for the Philippine elections. His 33rd time in 2019 held special significance. It matched the age of Jesus at the crucifixion. He wanted to stop again, but the villagers begged him to continue. From 2020 to 2022, the pandemic forced a 3-year break. In 2023, he made a powerful comeback, completing his 34th crucifixion. For his 35th in 2024, he prayed for peace amid the Russia-Ukraine war, the conflict in Gaza, and tensions in the South China Sea. In 2025, at 64 years old, he carried out his 36th crucifixion and publicly declared it would be his last. To accommodate his age, the cross was made lighter, but he still knelt and took the nails. He prayed for peace across the entire world. These numbers are far more than just a record. They carry his deep concern for his family, his country, and all of humanity, and his prayers seem to have been answered. His daughter's asthma was miraculously cured. His wife has stayed healthy for years to outsiders. Reuben always looks calm during the ritual, but his wife is filled with worry. She fully supports her husband, yet her heart aches for his body. She once said, "After each time, he looks like he's walking just fine on the outside, but I know his heart is in pain, and his body is in pain." Their 4 children grew up watching their father endure this suffering. As adults, some followed in his footsteps as carpenters, and the daughter who was healed is now a nurse. She moved back to the village, specifically to take care of her father. Reuben's story has spread around the world. He will forever be remembered as the one who carried the cross. That's it for today's episode. What do you think about Reuben's story? Leave a comment and let us know. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe.